So with American Horror Story Apocalypse coming in at only 10 episodes this season and the vast majority of the story taking place in flashbacks in order to connect Coven and Murder House, we're forced to ask ourselves, how are they going to wrap up the entire story in the last 2 episodes? In fact, is it going to be a sequel season in season 9? Today, we're going to talk about it. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. That's right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about season 9 of American Horror Story. And this is something that I talked about recently. Just in the last couple of weeks, talking about whether or not this next season of American Horror Story is actually going to be taking place after the events of American Horror Story Apocalypse. One of the things I talked about there was, as Ryan Murphy has talked about in recent interviews, even before it was announced that American Horror Story Apocalypse was going to be the connecting season between Coven and Murder House, talking about the next season or a future season taking place sometime in the future. Of course, not in space. He did say that it's going to take place at least in the American landscape because we're not leaving that. It's part of the show's title. It's one of the things that's a bedrock of this show thus far over the last couple of years. But with that being said, is it possible with everything that they have to do in the very few episodes they have to do it, that they're actually planning to give us a sequel season for season 9 of American Horror Story? So I've heard a lot of people in the comment section talking about this over the last couple of days. I think the sense among fans is there's just a lot that they have to do in order to connect everything and tell the best possible story. So either it's going to be completely rushed or they're setting something up that's going to be really different, huge departure from everything that they've done in the past for this show. Obviously, as every season has been complete anthology, new characters, new situations, just barely connected between a couple cameos or just a couple of winks and nods, Easter eggs from previous seasons. We haven't had a season like American Horror Story Apocalypse this entire time, something that tries to genuinely connect one, if not all, of the various seasons. And as I've already talked about myself, I think there is a genuine possibility that we're going to be getting connections not only to Hotel, Coven, Murder House, and all of those seasons that one's connected to, but all of them through this particular story. More specifically, having Emily, the character who died within the first 3 episodes, come back at some point, but be connected to Kit as his granddaughter or something directly related to the aliens, and the aliens themselves going to be the godlike figure for either the ending of this season or next season. Personally, I think that this makes a ton of sense, and it would allow for the vast majority of fans to continue to hold on to their idea of the 9 Circles of Hell storyline, despite knowing that we're going to get 10 seasons of this show. Yes, it has been greenlit for season 10 thus far. We don't know whether it's going to end in season 10 or if it's going to keep going, but a direct continuation of American Horror Story Apocalypse's story would allow for that same 9 Circles of Hell storylines, these characters being in that situation, to persist with the fan base despite getting 10 seasons. I think that in and of itself is a huge indicator as to why it's possible that we can have a sequel season, the very first sequel season for American Horror Story coming to us next year. And that's another thing I just want to get out there very briefly. A lot of people have been talking about whether or not this show has to end this season or whether it should end next season for various theories or reasons, for quality's sake or anything else like that. It has been confirmed we are getting up to at least season 10 of American Horror Story. If you want my opinion as to why that is, despite the fact that American Horror Story has always been genre niche television, never bringing in massive numbers of people watching it, I think it's probably because Ryan Murphy, at least for FX and the Fox network, has been nothing but a cash cow, and they want to do their best to keep him in their wheelhouse. Of course, if you do follow the news, you realize that he recently did sign a deal with Netflix in order to make programming for them. So obviously Fox is just trying to do their best to keep all of his properties in the loop and keep his money-making ideas under their roof. So I think that's why we got a green-lit season, at least to season 10 with American Horror Story, despite the lower ratings over the last couple years. And just as a fan of the show, I'm really actually okay with that. And I'm actually okay with the concept of a sequel season depicting more Coven, Murder House, and even connecting all the other seasons leading into what I imagine would be a grand finale of the show. Honestly, a grand finale of the show I would like is something that takes place in the past, something that actually started all of this. So we connect everything over this season and the next season, and then season 10 or the last season of the show is a direct depiction of how all of this started and where all these characters, reoccurring people, and situations actually came from, connecting everything in the last 3 seasons of this television show. That would be, at least in my opinion, the best thing they could do. Anyway, guys, hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.